Welcome to another Comic Book Straight Talk. I'm Terry, the Prince Tickler French.
Captain Dalian.
Eric, the Knucklehead Eaton.
Just Kenny.
Just Kenny is joining us again. This week, we're going to go over some of our favorite little mini-series, whether they're 4-part, 5-part, 12-part.
Mini-series and one-shots.
Yeah, and one-shots as well.
Who wants to go first?
Well, I'll start off with a couple of, from an ongoing series, but they were single-issue, standalone stories. Hawkman 28, which was by Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips, of course. It was a noir story, kind of like the Maltese Falcon.
Past life issue, I think.
And it was a really good story. What I consider the greatest Catwoman story ever told was from Catwoman 54, Catwoman Volume 2, number 54. And it's about, this museum is having this huge diamond on display, and she breaks in and steals it, and she's all happy about it, and then the next morning she wakes up and she's upset because it was too easy to steal, so she took it back. So they heighten their security, and she goes and steals it again, but it's still too easy, so she keeps stealing it and taking it back, and then she finally realizes that the museum has bought an insurance policy, and so every time she steals it, they have to pay more for the insurance policy. The whole time they wanted her to steal it, so she threatened to continue stealing it until the insurance policy was too expensive for them. And then moving on to miniseries, Alex DeCampi's Grindhouse. If you like those 70s schlocko films, that you'll like Grindhouse.
What about you, Dal?
Miniseries-wise, the first Death miniseries, Time of Her Life, was kind of expanded on character from Sandman. Gaiman wrote it. Bacalo did the art. And actually, the little one-shot was Death Talks About Sex. Was kind of funny. Also, Doctor Strange is out now, so the one-shot that P. Craig Russell redid, I think the late 90s, What Is It That Disturbs You, Stephen? Was his updating, reworking, recoloring, redrawing, basically, of the Doctor Strange annual that he did from the 70s. Which is still a fun read to read. So.
Just reprinted it in a trade.
That's right, yeah. Separate Reality, I think, reprints it. What about you, Tickler?
I tried to pick a few obscure ones. The first one I did want to mention that was recommended to me and I read it. It was called Echoes. It was a Minotaur, Top Cow / Image. Came out in 2011. One of those gentlemen in it, he's just starting out kind of in his life. He's just gotten married, has a kid. He also has schizophrenia, so he has to deal with that. And his father is dying, and he's got Alzheimer's, and he's in the hospital or the hospice. And so he goes to visit him, and his father tells him that committed these murders of children years ago. And right about that same time, he's just recently being investigated for a little girl's disappearance. And with the schizophrenia, he starts thinking, did he really take this girl? And he starts trying to investigate it a little bit. And there's this one scene where he goes underneath the house or something. He finds out some information, and he finds all these skulls of these kids. So he doesn't know if it's really happening to him or not. But that was just a really good, spooky story, well written. I definitely recommend that one. And another one that I really enjoyed, I read it when it came out as a reprint, Darklon the Mystic. I've got just about all the originals. It originally came out in Eerie issues, numbers 76, 79, 80, 84, and 100. And this is Darklon the Mystic. This is a Starlin book. It's really pretty in the black and white. But the Pacific reprint is pretty nice too, although it's done in color. And it's basically about this mystic. His name is Darklon. It's sort of a space sci-fi fantasy thing that Starlin he did a lot of that. His father had been, his whole kingdom had been taken control of, and he goes and he escapes, and he's looking for the power to gain vengeance over them. So he visits this god named the Nameless One, and he gives him the power, and he goes back to get vengeance, and the story just continues from there. It's a really good story. But, if it was an Eerie and then reprinted later in Pacific, it must be good. So definitely check that one out. Kenny, what else you got?
Just gonna skip Eric.
I'm sorry, Eric. Eric was being so quiet.
Thanks. No, I think for probably DC good miniseries, there's a lot of the Flashpoint series. Those are pretty interesting reads. They started, of course, with Flash, but then there was a lot of Flashpoints with like Citizen Cold. There's the Frankenstein, the Deadman, and the Graysons, which those are all pretty interesting reads. Most of them were 3 issues on those. Marvel, probably Daredevil, The End of Days, came out 2012. It was like a little 8-part miniseries, kind of noir style, mystery kind of series over the death of Daredevil. I was a fan of, it was 2010, The Astonishing Wolverine and Spider-Man. It was a little 6-part miniseries. It was pretty good. I've always been a big fan of Wolverine. and everyone loved Spider-Man. Those were pretty decent. There was a Batman Gates of Gotham series. It was kind of a take on an old unsolved mystery going on in Gotham with the Gotham founders of the city. So those, for if you like DC or Marvel, would be pretty good pickups. They're all pretty inexpensive and fairly easy to find, 2010 and newer kind of stuff. So they were pretty interesting. So that's my part. Thanks for including me with that tickler.
Well, I'm going to jump right into the Joelle Jones Lady Killer from Dark Horse. This is a story about a 50s housewife, Tupperware lady who's also an assassin. We talked about it in the last episode. Beautiful Laura Allred colors. And then I'm going to go with an old one, Blue Monday. If you're a child of the 80s, you should check out Blue Monday.
And actually, Image is collecting those in trade paperbacks right now.
And actually collecting
size.
an actual comic size this time instead of digest.
Volume 1's been out. That's it right now.
Mm-hmm. The kids are all right.
That's right.
Now, Captain, were you a fan of any of the Hellboy, like Hellboy in Mexico, any of the little Hellboy?
The
series?
Hellboy little one-shots and such. My favorite one's the Hellboy Christmas special.
Okay.
I believe Gianni did. Pancakes. Just one little strip of pancake.
You got any others to add there, Tickler?
Yeah, I got this one is one shot within the series of Charlton Premiere #2 called The Children of Doom. It was written by Sergius O'Shaughnessy, which is a name that Denny O'Neil used at the time, and Pat Boyette did the art. They create this atomic bomb that will set off if anybody else tries to release an atomic bomb. But this particular it's the Doomsday atomic bomb. It'll just destroy the Earth. So basically, it keeps everybody in check. But what's also interesting about it is it goes back and forth from black and white to color to give the more depth to the story, and it's really good. Maybe a little hard to find, and it was reprinted in Space Wars by Charlton. But definitely check it out and check out the beautiful. The art in it. It's pretty amazing. This one is, I think, just kind of overlooked now. It's Camelot 3000, which was by Mike Barr and most of the art by Brian Boland. And basically, it brings back the whole King Arthur tale and brings these aliens. Yeah, there's a fight in it. Sort of sort of like the Dark Line I was talking about, sort of sword and sorcery, but, with more set in space and stuff like that. And really good read. Definitely should check it out. Captain, what do you got?
Obviously, some of the big ones, Killing Joke. I think we all know about the Killing Joke. Superman Man of Steel was a 4-issue.
Mm-hmm.
The original was 4 issues, and it kind of set John Byrne was given the task of basically modernizing Superman. Batman Mad Love, the adaptation of the TV show,
Origin of Harley Quinn.
Or vice versa, whichever one came first. But yeah, the origin of Harley Quinn. Bruce Timm, he did the art on that one also. And
for a long time was considered the first appearance of Harley Quinn. I just want to give a mention to all of the Corbin adaptations of Edgar Allan Poe stuff. Those are all fantastically done. Actually, that's what made me a Richard Corbin fan, because before that, I couldn't stand Richard Corbin's art.
His art was kind of hard for me to get into for a long time as well.
And then a newer one is Black Beetle, modern day Paul Puro.
Yeah, that's good.
Francavilla art again.
Yeah, his art really fits that noir type style.
And then another one is Wonder Woman, and I want to hope I'm pronouncing this correctly. The Hecatea was a original graphic novel that Greg Rucka wrote. About 15 years ago? You want to read it just because of the cover, because it has Batman's face being smashed in the ground by Wonder Woman's boot. Fantastic story. Possibly one of the greatest Wonder Woman stories ever told.
Do you think it would be beneficial for the big two to do more miniseries than actually ongoing series? I mean, I think it would be neat if they, did away with all ongoing series and then said, these are the characters in our universe, and came up with some good writers, write some miniseries. You can incorporate other characters into the storyline. They may or may not die off, and then pass the torch on to another writer, another artist, let them do another miniseries. But then you highlight different characters, and sometimes they intertwine with other characters in the universe, sometimes they don't. I mean, I think it would be kind of interesting. It seems like a lot of people get excited when a new miniseries comes out, that they want to pick up all the copies, and it's not 400 issues, it's 8 to 10 issues, 12 issues. It'd be pretty interesting.
I think in essence, like a lot of the series, Amazing Spider-Man, Batman, are essentially miniseries. They have
their little
different writers that they
plot
pass
line,
on.
storylines.
Everything's written to to make a trade paperback.
But there's
Right.
certain characters that just can't hold a really long, lengthy run like that. Like Moon Knight doesn't really need. I mean, I love Moon Knight.
You beat me to it, 'cause I was gonna say Moon
I'm a
Knight.
big fan of Moon Knight, but he just normally cannot hold enough people to continue a long series. You can do a mini series with him, 13, 15 issues, 16 issues, whatever you need, and then stop, and then until you have another story, and then bring back the next story.
But that could also help him with his longevity.
Yeah.
If you had more
Right.
miniseries, people would be like, man, that seems like an interesting character. Let's see if they can maybe delve in a little deeper and develop him as a character, and then you give him a 18-part
I think the
miniseries.
problem you'd run into there would be with the retailers not knowing how to order. By the time.
Oh yeah, that's true.
you know, By
As
the
long as
time
you
you
don't.
get number 1 in, you've already placed the order for number 4, and then
Right.
if it doesn't sell, now you're stuck with 4 issues that don't sell.
That and another problem is length of time, in between this miniseries and the next miniseries. People forget about the character.
Well, if you do like a 10-issue miniseries, and at the halfway point of your 10-issue miniseries, you've got the next group getting ready to, or working on the third miniseries, you take a 2-month little break, and then boom, you come back with a new one. That would be something that could probably work. DC is doing. Sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry.
One thing, a lot of that just boils down to, you may have stories, but if the story isn't up to par, don't just put it out.
Right. And with the time delay, they could have
Right.
more time as far as making sure it was, a viable story instead of just, man, they were on a deadline and you could
They had to
tell that
crank
they were
that
on
out,
a
yeah.
deadline.
Or what's happened the last two big miniseries Marvel's done, they get late, and what Civil War's now,
Yeah.
going to be in 2 is going to be what, January?
Look out on time.
The Marvel Universe has passed you all. I was going to say about DC's doing a Commandi.
Oh yeah.
I think it's like Commandi Challenge, and what it is they're each going to be self-contained stories, but each by a different artist, but at the end in a cliffhanger.
Okay.
And so the next issue, the next writing team has to come, it picks up at the end of where that went and does their story. So every issue will end as a cliffhanger to be picked up and see how it's up. That could be interesting.
12 issues, 12 different creative teams.
Yeah. What other miniseries you all got?
I got the series called The Mark from Dark Horse. This is
The 90s hero.
it started. The story starts during World War II, and the country, I cannot remember the name of it. Starts with an L, but they're partnered with Germany. But then they decided to close their borders and break the partnership. No, it wasn't Lithuania. It was some made up word. It wasn't Lithuania. It was
Latveria?
something like that. It's more like Latveria, but no. But so that they cut themselves off. They continue, though, the Nazi thing, segregating people into certain camps, and they start genetically tampering with them, and they're going in and they're just like taking kids from the families and doing all these lab tests and stuff from them. And this one particular guy he wears the mark of the genetic tampering on him. He starts to fight against what they're doing, and so he's got some superpowers. It seems like probably from whatever tampering happened to him. But just an interesting story. And you should be able to find most of the ones I've mentioned. You should be able to find easy and cheap. So definitely pick up The Mark and check it out.
I've got Justice. I think it was Jim Kruger and Alex Ross. Maybe wrong on the writer, but it was all Alex Ross pitting the Justice, basically the Legion of Superheroes, or not Legion. I'm sorry, not Legion. The I can't think what they were called. Super Friends against the Legion of Doom. And so that was a good. I think it was 12-issue miniseries, 8 or 12. It was good.
Did you were you guys fans, since you're more DC, of the Kingdom Come miniseries?
Yeah, it was a great
It was
series.
a pretty good
yeah.
series. The Earth X kind of from Marvel was kind of didn't follow it as well. I didn't think.
I wanted to get into that, but the art I thought was just so horrid. It was
Yeah, the little R was
Earth
little-
X.
Now Marvel,
It was, John Paul Villon.
because didn't
Yeah.
Mark Waid and Alex Ross do Kingdom Come?
Yeah.
You'll already love that, Kenny. Mark Waid.
Well, see, the thing with Mark Waid is he did all that great stuff at DC,
Mhm.
and then for a period, man, it just fell off, and everything he wrote was just bad.
Yep.
And now he's back to form.
Now I like the I believe it was a 4-part, the Silver Surfer Requiem. It was pretty good. I think it came out in 06, maybe 05, 06. It was a pretty decent series for.
That was Straczynski, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
There's that one Silver Surfer one shot.
Return to Shambhala?
That's not Silver Surfer.
Yeah, it is. Or the Enslavers?
Shambhala, that's the one with Doctor Strange.
Oh, what's okay?
Yeah.
Did you read the
What?
Doctor Strange?
Geez, once I'm right about
Well, I'm
something.
trying to think of yeah.
The Oath. Did you guys ever read the? What was
Oath
it?
was good.
The Oath. That
Doctor
was a little
Strange.
5-part, I think.
Uh-huh.
5-part miniseries. It wasn't bad. So I went and saw the movie. I don't know if you guys have seen
I
it,
haven't
but
seen the movie yet. Looking
It's-
forward to it.
it's actually really good.
The
I
original
was impressed.
Illuminati one shot was good.
Wasn't Avengers?
I was
Wasn't it
thinking about
Avengers
this
Illuminati?
Silver Surfer thing. Was
Oh,
cool.
it was
Oh
all
yeah,
the
I can't. There's
villains.
one shot Silver Surfer.
Oh yeah.
Or, well, no, you're right. And then they did the Illuminati with the villains.
Mhm.
The
They were-
Cabal.
The Cabal, yeah, that's the one I was thinking. Emma Frost and Submariner. Another fun miniseries to read is by Eric Powell's Billy the Kid's Old Time Oddities. That's pretty good. Bunch of circus freaks who roaming through Europe, monsters and everything. One of the greatest Batman stories ever told is The Long Halloween
Mm-hmm.
by Jeff Loeb and Tim Sell. And up until Captain America White, just about everything
They
Loeb
did,
and Sell did together was fantastic.
I think my favorite was the Spider-Man Blue. It's really good. Daredevil Yellow was real good too. And the Batman haunted one-shots they did. Every
Yeah.
year, they would do the Batman Halloween episode or issues. Pretty good. So,
Did you guys like it? It's mid '90s. I don't know if you read it. It was a one-shot, pretty good one-shot. Punisher kills the Marvel Universe.
Mhm.
That was pretty good.
I
Where
recently picked that up and got a chance to read it.
yeah, it's. I mean, he goes around and because he's like the NYPD and goes around and kills not only all the superheroes but all the villains as well, and then ends up himself. So it's pretty interesting.
Speaking of Punisher,
that's. I think we're on the same page.
Archie meets the
Yeah,
Punisher.
that's what I was gonna
was-
say.
The Punisher, yeah.
That was great.
A crossover you wouldn't think would work.
Yeah.
But it did. And so yeah. Okay, you mentioned Punisher. The first thing I thought of too. One of my favorites back when it was coming out was Monkey Man O'Brien.
Yeah.
Art Adams stuff he was doing about a intelligent monkey and a scientist that they worked together and tripped the Fantastic on adventures and everything. And
Speaking of
Monkey
adventurers, there was a book that came out in the late 90s called Harry Johnson, the Uncouth Sleuth. And it was kind of a parody of all those old adventure movies and
written by
it's completely politically incorrect, I should say. It is a hoot, though.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. And the art in it is Craig Russo,
mm-hmm.
so the art's great, too.
And it was written by Bleeding Cool's Rich Johnson.
No.
Wasn't it? I thought that was the one he wrote.
No, I can't remember the guy's name, but I think that's the only thing the guy ever wrote.
Okay.
So,
Do you remember the series Marvels? There was like I want
Yeah.
to say 3
it
issues.
was kind of...
It was all
Marvels came out before Kingdom Come.
Yeah,
right?
it's like how was that? Of all the miniseries trying to think about, I totally forgot all that.
Yeah, I want
Marvels.
to say there was maybe 3 or 4 issues of that, but
Charles
it was pretty interesting.
Bolt. Okay, well, sorry, Rich, you didn't write that.
Because it goes over the thing on Marvels that I liked is that it actually went over the entire birth of the Marvel universe.
It did, and I think it was the first issue that at the end of it kind of had that cool scene of the invaders falling down or coming down to attack Germany from the.
I think Ross didn't Ross do a lot of artwork for it.
He did the entire issues.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I'm thinking.
And then he went back and did, what was the follow-up to Marvels?
Marvels 2 was it was it Through the Lens or something, and then they did Ruins, which was like
Yeah.
Marvels Through the Villains, I think, or something, or the Marvel Universe, the end of it, or didn't read that one.
Yeah. Yeah, Terry.
Wild Dog, or This is Wild Dog. Basically, sort of a Punisher character, 4-issue miniseries. They're having it starts off. What's so funny?
No, go ahead. No,
This starts off. The people get kidnapped, and Wild Dog shows up like Punisher and takes them out, and it just continues from there. It's like I said, it's 4-issue miniseries. It's short and it's cheap. It's just a good fun read.
may not be as cheap now.
Oh, because he's
with him
supposed
being
to-
with him being in this season's Arrow. Although it is kind of funny to see the hockey mask and the shirt. Yeah,
I think we still find it cheap.
but yeah, it's,
Is that Wild Dog? Is that...
it's in season 5 of Arrow.
Now, were you a fan of Daredevil Born Again?
Yeah.
It was a pretty good little new series. And for the time, and it's definitely past now, but The Death of Superman, the graphic novel, that was pretty good at the time. I mean, it was pretty interesting that with Doomsday,
Oh, yeah.
now it's not, as
Caused
relevant,
the...
but
it's kind of responsible for the 90s boom. Was it?
which I think
Oh, yes. Okay.
Terry. No, you put all the blame on the Superman. 77 for
Oh, yes. Yeah. So, yeah.
for killing off
Superman 75
so much
for,
of
helped was one of the
put the downfall of
Yeah,
comics in
yes,
the
it
90s
was.
because of that issue.
Yeah, because everyone thought they were buying it to send their kids to college, and well, guess what? It wasn't.
Kids,
So-
you're going to community
Silver
college.
Surfer book was
Go get
the John Byrne one shot.
Have to pay
You
John
just showed me
Byrne.
that. Yeah. Yes, there was a John Byrne one shot that
And
he
it did have to do something with Shambhala in it.
Yes,
But I was thinking, at the same time, I was thinking about the
Doctor
Doctor Strange.
Well, and that's what's funny that because if I'm correct, they did the one shot and then they did the ongoing series from the '80s for Silver Surfer.
Well, and then there was the Stan Lee and Mobius.
Oh yes,
Silver
that's
Surfers.
Yeah.
that's beautiful. Story's not so great, of course, from Stan Lee, but the Mobius art,
Stan Lee was a great creator, not the best writer.
yes.
Well, this one I've mentioned probably several times because I'm not a big fan of the character, but this particular miniseries I picked up and read, and I just thought it was hilarious. People that like Deadpool may like this, and this is the miniseries is Lobo's Back, and this is one where Lobo gets killed while he's hunting down a skip tracer. The guys they're pointing their guns at each other and just firing away. Bullet shells are just piling up underneath their feet. They're got bullet holes all through them, and right at the end it turns into like the movie where this guy that Lobo's fighting has another guy inside of him who pulls out a gun and finishes off Lobo. So Lobo dies. He goes to heaven and causes chaos in heaven, and so they take him to hell. He causes chaos in hell. So then they try to reincarnate him, and they keep messing it up, and they reincarnate him as a woman. Then he gets reincarnated as a rabbit. It's completely insane.
Booplesnooth.
Yeah, it's completely insane. It's funny. I was surprised how funny it was. So I kind of think if you like Deadpool, you might like this 4-issue miniseries.
On the
I liked
Lobo. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say I liked on the cover of issue number 1, it was literally Lobo's back.
Yeah.
Well, another thing that's funny is in the very first page when you turn it in there, it's got a draw by numbers or color by numbers, and it's basically Lobo flipping you off. And as a matter of fact, I haven't. It doesn't cause a whole lot, but I have an extra copy of this miniseries. So if anybody mentions the word Lobo, we'll do a drawing later on, and you can have this miniseries, and you can check it out, and hopefully you'll enjoy it as much as I did.
Did you ever read the Lobo goes to the Lobo convention special
I'm not.
where he went to a Comic-Con?
No.
That was I had that book 4 times.
I've been meaning to read more Lobo because I really did think this particular miniseries was really funny. I just never have gotten around to it. But like
I think
said,
it was Mark
this one
Nicholson.
This one was
Maybe.
freaking hilarious.
So the Flashpoint, the Batman Knights of Vengeance.
Mhm.
I think that was one of the better Batman, and it's only a 3-issue miniseries. But
Yes,
it's pretty
it's really good.
good little Batman
kinda
series.
Twist the whole Batman thing.
Yeah.
And the death.
Right.
Yeah.
It's instead of it's his father who becomes Batman.
Right. And Bruce dies, and spoilers, the mom becomes Joker. So,
Yeah, that is pretty good.
And you've mentioned in the past, what about Lock and Key? You think that?
That's not a miniseries.
Well, I know, but starting out, it kind of read like a miniseries when it
Well,
first came out.
When it first came
I
out, it
think
was
when it first
Yeah,
started,
when it
yeah,
first
yeah,
started, yeah.
it was.
What's a
And it was,
series
Hill and Rodriguez.
miniseries?
Yeah.
It's like Hellboy and Sin
Yeah.
City.
Lock and Key is very good, yes. But the one I was talking about, a miniseries I tried to talk about during when we talked about a lot of the horror comics and stuff like that, was Severed by Scott Snyder. Just a beautiful book, very spooky, set during Depression era time. What did I say about it? It was basically this character, this kid runs away from home. I think he's out looking for his father. I can't remember. And this guy drives the dirt roads and stuff like that. He looks for these kids, and basically I think he eats them. But he's real nice at first. He lures the kids in, and then it's pretty scary. It's pretty spooky. Dow's rolling his eyes.
No, I'm not rolling my eyes. I was
Yeah.
thinking, no, I wasn't rolling the eyes. I was trying to think if that's what that was. I thought it had something to do with teeth. That's what I remember.
Yeah, he had these big sharp. Well, he didn't at
Yeah,
first, but
right.
when he transformed, sort of,
Yes, okay,
his
yeah.
mouth became
Sharp,
huge,
yes, okay.
sharp teeth. Yeah, but yeah, that came out not too long ago,
Came out in
2011.
2000s, yeah.
Yeah, so definitely check that out. Who else has something?
I like the X-Men God Loves, Man Kills.
Man Kills.
That was probably one of the best X-Men graphic novels
Yes,
I can think of.
Oh yeah, that was pretty much.
I would put that one up there with the Dark Phoenix
Yeah.
saga, the
the
Days of Future Past.
Mhm.
Death of Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
That graphic novel.
Well, the X-Men God Loves Me Kills was kind of the basis for the X-Men 2 movie.
Yeah.
In a sense, that and Wolverine's origin kind of worked together, and it worked for me.
And that one's actually not that expensive to pick up. So,
Unfortunately, they ruined the Dark Phoenix saga storyline.
Yeah.
In the movies.
One miniseries that I've had since it came out, and through all my getting rid of books and everything, the stories that I've told with that,
Cloak and Dagger.
no, is Batman Gotham Knights. The original is like a 4-issue miniseries,
Mhm.
and it told about different Gotham citizens. And like Batman, you'll see the bat symbol. You may see him run across a building or something, but it's the stories of the citizens of Gotham. And I don't know why that. When I was younger, I read it, and I loved it. So I still have it. So
Another good
three-one?
Batman was a one shot was The Man Who Laughs
yes,
Yeah.
by Ed Brubaker, where he kind of retold the first time Batman and Joker. You're laughing because it was Ed
Ed
Brubaker. But it kind of retells the first time Batman and Joker meet.
And then there was the Batman, Death of a Mask or Death of a Hero, Death Mask. It was 4 or 5 parts, and it was like a Japanese style comic because you open it backwards.
yes.
It was a pretty good little series. But I think it's Batman Death Mask. I want to say there is three. It was either 3 or 5 issues. That was a pretty good one. And then the Batman, was it Mad Monk or Monster Man?
Monster Man, and then they followed that up with Mad Monk.
Yeah, those were
Well, another
pretty
one you were
decent little
mentioning
series.
earlier that I kind of laughed at, so it was hard to read, was the Batman Grindles.
Oh, yeah. There was the Devil's Mask and then
Mhm.
Devil's Riddle.
Honestly, I think Grindle's a much better villain for Batman. I mean, he's...
Now, Terry, did you ever read the Batman Ultimate Evil? There was, I believe, 2 of them. There's a
crime writer Andrew Bacchus, I think, wrote it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I read that.
It wasn't that bad. Pretty decent one.
A little while back.
I liked when I was a kid, my favorite one, and they did it in the comics. There was a 3-issue one, but I had the little book of it. Was the Untold Legend of Batman. As a kid, my favorite series because there was a small little book, and
Right,
it had
as I'm demonstrating the size of my hands, if y'all can see me.
but
Yeah.
it had the cover of I think the issue
They
2
can't, I know.
2 on it. So
Thanks, Terry.
it was a pretty
Like
good
that.
little mini series.
Batman has a lot of,
Yeah, we could. Do a whole
Son of the
episode
Demon,
on-
and that could be a whole show.
Yeah.
Batman miniseries and Batman one-shots.
That's like Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man,
a
yeah,
bunch.
Spider-Man's got a bunch.
What about the Wolfie and Batsy?
Wolf and Bats.
Wolf and Batsy, yeah.
That was a fun book.
It was by Brian Baugh.
Oh yeah, I think that's right.
Basically, it's an eerie story, but it's really fun at the same time. The characters are drawn really interesting. They feed off humans, but they try to restrain themselves, and they're just looking for a place to live. So they're traveling the roads, trying to find a place that will, take them in and understand who and what they are, and they just keep running into all sorts of trouble. Just really interesting story. It came out. I don't think it ever completed, but you have to go and buy. It's really hard to figure out what to buy online, but you can get the rest of the story. But it came out for a short time. Really well written. Worth checking out.
There was a book from the early 2000s called Gun Fu, and it was about an Asian detective in World War II that spoke in modern street slang. So you'd go around calling everybody homie and stuff like that, and what a fun read that was.
Another one-shots that were really good for the old school listeners that probably they enjoyed was all the Classics Illustrated. Everyone was a one-shot. I mean, you had it all. You had 20,000 Leagues on the Sea. You had Buccaneer, Lorna Doone, all sorts of stuff.
Cristo.
Yeah,
Golden Bug.
the original
Pretty nice artists on them
one-shots.
too, actually.
I think they did Dante's Inferno, I believe.
Yeah, Dante's Inferno, and then they did,
I think they
of
did
course,
all,
Three
I think they
Musketeers.
did all the classics.
Yeah, all the classics. Yeah, shut up.
Did they illustrate them?
They did. They illustrated
They
it.
did. Yeah,
It's Classics Illustrated.
they came out.
I'll let Dal talk about this one. Was a book called Death Sentence. You probably remember it better than I do.
Oh, I don't know if I finished it all. It was a drug that gave the people superpowers, but it also shortened their life. So once it's kind of a British book. Titan Comics did it. Pretty good story. They did the regular series and they did a second follow-up to it.
I remember reading it, and I got to a point where the book wasn't coming out for a long time.
Right.
One of those
Yes,
classic scenarios
yeah.
like we talked about earlier. So I kind of forgotten about it, and
Mm-hmm.
I I don't think I've ever finished reading it because of that.
Yeah.
For some reason, we could never get issue 3 in,
Yeah.
or something like that.
I think we finally did. We got like 7 copies of number 3 or something.
Yeah, Mike made me buy 2 of
When
them.
it first came out, it was pretty popular, and you couldn't
You
get
couldn't
a hold
find
of
it
it.
now. So.
Now, is there any current miniseries you guys are liking, or that are
No,
available?
they're all horrible. No, I'm just
Okay.
kidding.
Current one that just ended, like last year, was Archie versus Predator. Again,
Yeah.
the last crossover you think would work.
And there's been a lot of the Star Wars miniseries that are really
Yeah,
good.
Star Wars,
Right.
Chewbacca,
Lando,
Leia.
Han.
Yeah, Han hasn't finished yet, but
Right.
let's get ready to. 3PO to one shot.
Mhm.
That C-3PO one shot was really good.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it to be,
Yeah,
and it was.
it's like my least favorite of the main characters in
Mhm.
Star
Well,
Wars.
basically, all the Black Widows have been miniseries.
Beast of Burden.
Yeah.
Beast of Burden, great miniseries.
series of one shots and miniseries. Yeah.
Yep, by Evan Dorkin and Jill Thompson.
Well, another book that I liked from Jill Thompson was Scary Godmother. A really cool Halloween story.
There was another miniseries similar to that dealt with. What was it? I read it. I enjoyed it. It dealt with dogs and cats during.
We Three? Oh no, Red
no,
Red
Red. Yeah, it's Red something.
Rover Red Charlie or Red
Yeah.
Charlie Rover.
Right. It's dealing with
Rover Red Charlie.
Rover Red Charlie. Yeah. As sort of a zombie apocalypse where the world went to crap, and it's dealing with these dogs, and their language is just foul, and the cats are just evil, and they're combating against each other and trying to survive, and sort of like a Walking Dead, only with dogs and cats. And I thought it was pretty good.
Oh, what's the book that Adam Warren's doing right now at Dark Horse?
Oh, Empowered.
Empowered, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been reading a whole lot of miniseries I can think of here lately. I've been reading mostly the series.
Well, with all the rebirth stuff, it's kind of exciting to see how they're spinning off all the characters as far as kind of their new spins on, versus from the New 52.
Oh,
Well, basically though, basically everything from Image, well, not everything, but a huge chunk of Image is basically miniseries. So
Speaking of
Wow.
The Hunt,
yeah,
with the Celtic mythology monsters.
Yeah, I'm about 3 issues behind.
There's only been 3 issues.
Okay, 2 issues then. 2 issues! I've read the first one. I'm thinking 4 comes out next week. That's
Yeah.
right.
well, Chimichanga's out again, although it's not with Powell doing the art in it though. But the first Chimichanga was it 3 issues?
Yeah.
That was just, I thought it was a lot of fun about this little girl in a traveling circus who has a
Not
beard.
just any, I was just saying the bearded girl.
Yeah, she's the bearded girl. But
Yeah.
she's this cute little girl, just like something you would read in I remember the newspaper strips, just cute like that,
Okay,
just,
anyone that knows Terry, when he talks about something, he gets lit up and everything. The look when he lights up, like he's this little 12-year-old girl that likes chimichangas and has a beard. It's just in her pet demon. Yes.
yes. It was awesome.
A series I liked that, unfortunately, it's not a miniseries, but it never got finished. Me being a big fantasy fan, was Battle Chasers.
Oh, yeah.
That I thought was awesome. In fact, I start going back and trying to find all those again. And,
Yeah, all those cliffhanger books
Yeah.
just kind of like stopped coming
Mhm.
out.
There was a Squadron Supreme was a 12-issue miniseries that was really good.
from the
That you should probably check out.
Oh, from
the
Marvel?
original from the 80s,
Yes, the 80s.
that had Mark
Oh, no.
Grunwald wrote it.
I believe so.
Grunwald. And when he died shortly after I believe it was done, and when they did the trade, they mixed some of his blood or ashes into the book.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Kind of like the old Kiss
The
magazine.
Kiss mag- yeah.
That was a one shot. Well,
Yeah.
that was 2
Yeah.
issues.
Well, it was
The Kiss
originally a one.
Yeah.
It's originally a one shot. So. I don't know. I have never read it. Is it any good? Is it worth the read? I mean,
Which
everybody.
one? Squadron Supreme
No,
or the Kiss?
The Squadron Supreme is definitely a good read, but the Kiss was the Kiss.
I've never
I
read
never
it.
read it.
Charles,
The
maybe
blood
Charles,
thing was weird.
Charles has that. He can tell
Charles
us if
Brock
they're
can let us
actually
know if it was any good or not. Yeah,
But yeah,
he's a
the
huge Kiss fan.
actually, I'll put a little drop of their blood in the
Mhm.
ink, and I think Charles has been trying to clone them.
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Little mini Gene running around.
Another good one to check out would be from Image would be Witch Doctor, who's a paranormal surgeon, and basically every ailment that you suffer from is because a demon has possessed you. It was pretty good story, and he has like no bedside manner at all.
Did anybody read the Deadpool Secret Wars miniseries?
No, I didn't read that one.
Wade Wilson's Super Secret War.
Well, it's the one that puts him in Secret Wars at the time. I read some of that the other day. It was pretty good. I hate to admit it.
Well, you like Winpool.
I do like Winpool. but that's not Deadpool.
How's
No.
the clone conspiracy been?
It's like they're wanting to hit the reset button on Spider-Man with all the villains and all this, and so it's been okay. It's kind of cool to see the Scarlet Spider back. Books of Magic is a really good one. It's a 3-issue miniseries dealt with I don't want to make a whole segment mad again, but before Harry Potter, Tim Hunter, Gaiman created him. He's supposed to be the greatest magician. And you have Madame Xanadu, Phantom Stranger, John Constantine.
Well, John Constantine's the one that's taking him on the quest, right?
Right, yeah.
And I love when they meet up with Madame Xanadu and she slaps the crap out of John Constantine.
Yeah, and the Books of Magic came out, I'd say a good 10 years before J.K. Rowling even dreamed of Harry Potter. Yeah, Harry Potter was a ripoff of Tim Hunter. I said it.
I agree.
I agree.
There's a
Kenny's
census.
in the background. He agrees as well.
So all in all, that's some pretty good miniseries right there.
If you have a
Pretty good
miniseries,
pickups. None of them are too expensive.
Yeah,
I mean,
not really.
We
probably
mentioned some
Killing
of the-
Joke's probably the highest, I would say.
Maybe, but they've done trades.
Maybe
and
Marvel
they've done
prints
hardcovers.
Yeah.
that you can.
Punisher kills the Marvel Universe. That's kind of a...
And it's probably done in a
But
trade
yeah, it's
somewhere. Yeah.
done in a trade.
But I think we mentioned a lot of popular ones. We mentioned some that were kind of run under the radar. So if you got any that you want to mention, let everybody else know about it and why you like it, so that they might want to go pick that one up as well. We'd love to hear from you.
Okay. And then Lobo, for anyone that wants
Anybody that is
the drawing
interested,
to
just,
get the Lobos back
mention Lobo.
miniseries. Read only once by Terry. So anything?
He cuddled them and made sure they were loved on.
Okay, good. He loved the first issue.
Lobo
Yeah.
needs loving
It's
too.
covered a couple times. There is a
I
con
was going to
coming up.
say, don't
Uh,
forget
they
to.
could probably get Lobos.
There you
We could
go.
probably get, you
Yeah,
could probably get
If you don't want
Lobos
it, then
back.
you can go get it there, probably at the con.
December 3rd, it's a Saturday, 9 to 5. CollectorCon will be back. It's the
In
year anniversary.
Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Tulsa, Oklahoma. It's 1120 East 8th. It's off 8th and Peoria. There's the American Legion building there.
In fact, they hold it at the American Legion building.
Right. Yep.
Exactly, it's in the
That's
Legion
it's
building.
inside. We're doing the Make a Wish again, and there's 2 other groups there that are also doing for Make a Wish. So that way you're helping a lot of kids. It's that time of year. Christmas coming up. Great place to get gifts for any nerd in your life or for yourself. We're gonna have toys, comics, a lot of action figures, a lot of artwork. There's
Vendors.
a lot of
All the vendors.
tons
there.
of vendors.
We're going to be there.
We're gonna be there.
Comic Straight Talk.
Comic Straight
we'll have a
Talk,
table there. Stump us with
Yeah.
Which isn't
Marvel.
too hard.
Geekier, I believe Geekier things they're going to be doing in Oklahoma Underground. They're going to be filming there, so
Cosplay.
it'll be cool. We've got a cosplay
And
contest,
I was gonna
tons
say-
of prizes.
We
Cosplay.
had the Marvel game. We played several
Yeah.
episodes back. We'll
Yeah.
have it. Stump us one of those questions.
Which, like
May-
I said, isn't hard.
May win a prize.
Yeah. Should be a lot of fun. So don't forget, check out that page, CollectorCon, on Facebook, collectorcon.org for the internet. Like and share the event December 3rd. But for Comic Book Straight Talk, I'm Eric the Knucklehead Eaton.
Captain Dalian.
Terry the French Stickler French.
Just Kenny.
Just kidding. All right, we want to thank you for